This is a story about a man who walked away with what would be millions of dollars today, without a gun, without a mask, and without breaking a single law. This, my friends, is the story of the perfect legal heist.
Today, we're going to dissect one of the most brilliant and audacious betting schemes in history. It's the story of a mastermind named Barney Curley and his secret weapon, a horse named Yellow Sam. And believe me, this is so much more than a lucky bet. It is a masterclass in understanding a system not to follow its rules, but to find its absolute breaking points.
Now, to really appreciate the genius at play here, you've got to understand the world he was operating in, the world of horse racing. And it's a world built on one single golden rule. The bookmaker, the house, is always designed to win.
The whole system runs on odds, which are set by the bookies. So how do they do that? Well, they analyze a horse's recent performance. A horse that wins all the time gets low odds, something like 2-1. It's a safe bet, sure, but the payout is pretty small. The real prize money, that's on the long shot. The horse everyone thinks has no chance of winning.
And this really gets into the psychology of the average bettor. Most people back the favorite horse. That just feels safer, right? But the life-changing money, that's on the horse with terrible odds, maybe 20-1. If by some complete miracle that long shot wins, the payout is astronomical. And Barney Curley, well, he wasn't interested in miracles. He was interested in manufacturing one.
So, let's meet our protagonist. Barney Curley wasn't just some gambler throwing money around and hoping for the best. No. He was a student of the game. A man who looked at the system and didn't just see a set of rules, he saw a machine with gears that he could actually manipulate.
Curley's entire life was steeped in this world. He literally watched his father, a horse trainer, lose everything to gambling. But Barney was different. At just 15 years old, he actually outsmarted his own dad in a bet. So from a young age, he just understood deception and opportunity. And by 1975, the bookies knew his name, and they feared him.
And they had every reason to. But here's the thing. By 1975, Curley wasn't on top of the world. He was deep in debt. We're talking 12,000 pounds deep. He desperately needed a way out, and just any small win wasn't going to cut it. He needed the score of a lifetime. This brings us to the plan itself. And it was a plan so meticulous, it relied not on luck, but on a deep, almost academic understanding of the betting system's biggest flaws. And this is the key to his whole strategy. Curley knew you couldn't beat the bookies at their own game. So what did he do? He changed the game. He found a series of tiny little loopholes that, when he combined them, created one giant perfect vulnerability.
His plan had three parts. First, the horse. He bought a horse named Yellow Sam and then systematically ruined its public record. He'd race it in conditions it hated, making it look incredibly slow. This fed bad data to the bookies, forcing them to give the horse terrible, high payout odds. Second, the location. He chose the Bell Westtown racetrack for one very specific reason. It had only one public phone line. That was the single point of communication for all the off-track bookies. And third, the team. He secretly recruited 300 agents all across Ireland, ready to act on his signal.
Now, to fund this whole operation, Curley scraped together 15,000 pounds. This was everything he had. If this plan failed, he wouldn't just be in debt, he would be absolutely ruined. There was no safety net.
So the day arrives, June 26th, 1975. All the pieces of the plan are in place, and it all hinges on the most critical and, frankly, the most ingenious element of the entire scheme.
So here was the central problem Curley had to solve. The moment his agents started placing all these bets on Yellow Sam, hundreds of betting shops would see a massive red flag. They'd immediately try to call the on-track bookies to slash the odds. That phone line was their immune system. So how in the world do you stop all those calls?
The answer was beautifully simple. You don't try to block hundreds of calls coming in. You just occupy the one phone they're all trying to call.
So here's exactly how it went down. With 25 minutes to go, Curley's man, Benny, walked into that lone phone booth and started a loud, emotional, and completely fake conversation about his dying aunt. You can imagine the scene. Bookies are lining up behind him, getting more and more impatient, but Benny played his part perfectly, weeping and stalling. While he held that line, Curley's agents across Ireland placed their bets at the exact same time. As the race began, Benny hung up and just vanished. The line was free, but the race was on.
So now, all the planning, all the risk, it all came down to just a few minutes of a horse race. And the bookies on the track had absolutely no idea a financial tidal wave was about to hit them.
Because of Curly's telephone blackout, Yellow Sam, the horse he knew was fast but the world thought was slow, was still listed at those enormous 20-to-1 odds. Hundreds of bets were now locked in at that incredible rate.
While the bookies were frantically wondering why the phone line was dead, Yellow Sam was just flying. He didn't just win, he dominated, crossing the finish line a comfortable 2.5 lengths ahead of everyone. Curly, hiding in the bushes and watching through binoculars, had actually done it.
The chaos that erupted was immediate. As the results came in, the bookmakers realized they'd been completely and utterly outmaneuvered. And the man from the phone booth? When they questioned him, he just claimed his aunt had miraculously recovered and denied knowing Curly at all. The final payout was a staggering £300,000. In their fury, the bookmakers paid Curly his winnings in 108 massive sacks filled with £1 notes. It was a fortune, won through pure strategy.
This single event didn't just make Barney Curly rich, it made him a legend and permanently changed the very industry he had just conquered.
The aftermath was immediate. Curly became a folk hero, and crucially, he had broken no laws. He had simply exploited the rules exactly as they were written. In response, the industry changed overnight. New regulations were introduced, and you can bet every single track in the country made sure they had more than one phone line.
When Barney Curly passed away in 2021, the racing world paid tribute to him as the genius and Robin Hood of racing. He was known not only for his brilliant schemes, but also for using his winnings to fund extensive charity work.
And that leaves us with a fascinating question, doesn't it? Barney Curly saw a flaw in the system and drove a horse right through it. So was it an act of cunning deception? Or was it simply the smartest play in a game that was designed with exploitable rules? It makes you wonder what other systems out there have loopholes just waiting for their own Barney Curly.